And you know, the Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence are proof that you can look fabulous and do good work. And right now we are with one of the most fabulous, Sister Nova Nilla.
Wow.
Thank you. That's a pretty good intro.
It was. And
Thank you.
I just am speechless of that. But yes, you're right.
You know, I imagine you're rarely speechless. But true. Tell me, how did a nice boy like you, clearly smooth-chested from Southern California, become a fabulous member of the Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence?
I just saw people that needed help and decided to throw on a dress and away we go.
That's kind of the mission statement of the Sisters, isn't it?
Kind of, but we had this little white face to keep us anonymous.
Well, no, you get into my segue right there. For the uninitiated, tell me, in a nutshell, who are the Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence, both for the Russian River, but in general?
That's a very big nutshell.
It's a big nutshell.
It's a big nutshell.
It's a Brazil nut.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. I like those. Nuts are good. So anyway, what was the question? What we do is actually we put on the face for anonymity because it's not about who we are as a person doing this work. It's just about the work. And I would not do this if it wasn't for the people that get the benefit. I love the people that I work for in the community, and it's such an awesome experience. But you know, I can go into the bar and grab people and play with people like this, and the next day go into Safeway. They have no idea who it was. Now,
Guerneville's a small town. I know
Very
because
small.
My husband and I have had a home there for 10 years now, and I know that the center of life is, of course, the Guerneville Safeway.
This is true.
Now, you could walk into the Guerneville Safeway like this, and no one would bat an eye.
Well,
no, come on, you know
bat
it's
a
true.
few eyes, but we've done it before. Yeah, we just try to respect Safeway, believe it or not, and not go through there very often.
Yeah.
We have had sisters in the past do the checker routine and called, clean up on aisle 5, and Safeway asked us not to do that again.
Yeah.
So
but are there people who would not recognize you in your non-sister
Oh,
habit?
absolutely.
And are there people who only know you as Sister Nova Nilla?
Right. Even without all this, all they do is, I walk down the street of Guerneville and they'll say, Nova, Sister Nova. And I'm like, a boy.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of like a crossover. You get used to it.
I remember when I first came to California in the mid-1980s, the sisters were known for doing one thing better than anyone else, and that was raising awareness and money for people dealing with AIDS, HIV. Is that still the focus of the good work of the sisters?
That is one of the primary focuses, and they started out with that Playfair pamphlet way back then. It was one of the very first ever pieces of literature on safe sex and HIV/AIDS. It was amazing. I'm so proud of the sisters for that. Now, even though that's still a primary focus, there's all these other ventures that we've gotten into, especially the Russian River Sisters. We do fundraising for the firefighters, those men with big hoses, the sheriff's department, the seniors, the kids. We do a lot for the music programs, the science programs. Anybody that needs the money, they come to us. They apply for our money with the grant application, and if we deem them that we can help them the best we can, so we give them money.
So even though you are fabulous, the work of the sisters is not necessarily all gay.
Oh no, that's the great part about it. We've been able to build bridges and include all of the community because of the work we do up there, and it's fascinating.
Yeah, I remember the first Halloween that I was in Guerneville. So I guess this is now 10, 11 years ago, and Alfredo and I were watching sisters hand out candy. Thank you so much for, I would have left that out.
That's okay.
Handing out candy to kids, and then we were there for our first Festival of Lights parade during the Christmas holiday season. And what impressed me, and really kind of moved me as a gay man, was to see kids and families very friendly with sisters, and sisters interacting. And I thought, I think maybe when I first came to San Francisco in the 80s, I don't know if I'd have seen that. Do you think that's true?
That's possible because we've really reached out to those communities. And those kids, they are so happy to see the sisters because it's fascinating that the parents tell them, this is where the money has come from for the musical instruments that you play in the band. And so when we walk in those parades, the response, I don't know if you heard it, we get one of the biggest responses of the parade than any of the other groups. Of course, we look fabulous in the Christmas parade too, and we have these crazy floats, but it's fun. And then the Christmas parade in Guerneville is so short, it's only like 2.5 blocks.
Yeah.
We usually try and go through 2 or 3 times.
Yeah, I mean, that's the great thing. You can circle around Church Street and come back.
So they see us multiple times in the parade, and they think we're just a huge organization when it's actually just the same 20 of us.
In the last 20, 25 years, Guerneville has gone through some peaks and valleys.
True.
Floods, being kind of the center of San Francisco gay weekend vacation life, and now it seems to be going through another transition. Do you still think that Guerneville is kind of, to use a stereotype, San Francisco's Provincetown still?
You know, I talked about people, it's sort of like the Key West of the Redwoods, and it is going through an up and down period, just like every place else is right now, but we have a heart, and that's the neatest thing, and we're still working hard to support the community, even though they need it more now than ever.
Yeah, because, I mean, it's going through a difficult economic time.
It really is, but we're still there, and we're plugging through, and there's some really great investors that are coming in and buying some properties up and starting to reinvigorate it. Now's the time to invest in Guerneville, because it's only going to get better.
Oh, I agree.
It is.
What I see is still, though, about 30% of the businesses still seem to be either gay-owned or gay-oriented. Do you think that's still true?
Well, some of those are closing, a couple have closed, and they're in transition, and they're opening it up to some of the straight community, which is great because that keeps that business going, but it also builds those bridges again. So those people that come in from the straight community can see the gay people and live with them and associate with them. That's not a bad thing.
Yeah, I mean, we all have to live.
We're normal.
We all have to live together.
You're more normal than others.
You're more normal than others and more fabulous.
Of course.
I remember a few years ago they had the Stop the Hate campaign in Guerneville.
Well, yeah, that's...
And that was and the sisters were a big part of that, were they not? Tell me about that. Have you come across homophobia in Guerneville? I never have.
Very, very rarely. I think there's only been one time in all the times I've been a sister where somebody drove by in a pickup truck and yelled some epithet. But that's it, and I've been doing this now for 9 years. The sisters have been in Guerneville for 10 years. Our 10-year anniversary is coming up in April. Good Friday is our big party celebration up there. And that's the only time I've ever seen it.
You know, there's that adorable little Catholic church in Guerneville, St. Elizabeth's. What has been the response from them to you, or is there one? I mean, for a long time, there seemed to be this antagonism between, quote-unquote, the Catholic Church. Certainly nowadays it seems like, I know there are a lot of Catholics who welcome the sisters and see it for what it is, a group of people working hard for their community.
Well, I've never heard anything to my face, and I've actually never heard anything even behind my back. But we started a bingo there about 8 years ago, and they had their every Thursday night little bingo in the Catholic Church.
I mean, what's more Catholic than bingo?
This is true.
Yeah.
But what happened is ours got to be so popular, the poor little Catholic Church had to cancel their bingo because nobody was going to theirs anymore. I felt so bad for all of 5 minutes, and I just moved on and said, okay, well, we're still doing the same work you guys do, just in a better way, but more fabulous.
And raising money for many of the same causes.
Absolutely.
So tell us about bingo in the Russian River. What's it like? Believe it or not, I still haven't gotten there yet, but obviously now I have to.
This month.
Yeah.
It's always the second Saturday of the month, except for March and September, because of other events going on in the hall that we use. Oh my gosh, we have about 180 people that show up, and believe it or not, there is a line down the street to get in. Some of those folks that come start showing up at 12:30 in the afternoon because it is such a hit. And it's amazing. We give away all kinds of prizes, of course, some cash, and the sisters do their little antics and spankings if somebody's cell phone goes off, or if somebody calls a bingo in error. We've been known to do some things, but if a bingo is called in error, and if it's a cute guy, we'll drag his butt up front, take his shirt off, and he parade him through the crowd, and for every $1 somebody puts in the pot, they get to daub him anywhere on the bare skin.
And all for a good cause.
Oh, of course.
Now, you're called the Russian River Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence. What communities does that include up the river?
Mostly Sonoma County, anywhere up there, but San Francisco covers a bigger area than we do. But we also have a new group, relatively new group north of us from Eureka, the Abbey of the Big Red Wood.
So I guess I'm going to have them on the show too. Some of the sisters from the Abbey of the Big Red Wood.
And there's a new one forming in Sacramento.
You've been a sister now for how long?
8 years, since 2002.
What do you think has been the biggest change you've seen?
Oh boy, there's so many more we call them biological women that are getting involved. Used to be mostly guys, but all of a sudden there's this big influx of women. And we're one of the very first groups that ever had a bio woman in the group. And Sister Claire, who is a mentor, I mentored her, she's my daughter. She has been such an influence on the women. It's been phenomenal to see how they become a big part of the community up there. And it's a great thing. They just had the benefit for the boob, and they all participated.
For breast cancer.
Breast cancer awareness.
Right.
And they were all there, all the women we had, and they were putting on the little pasties and checking all the women in to make sure that they were covered. It was such a great event.
So now it's become not just a gay thing, but still fabulous for anyone who wants to join.
Exactly.
Real quick, what's your website?
www.rrsisters.org, and I have a present for you.
Thank you so much. It's like receiving
a water bottle.
A water bottle, limited edition from the sisters. I'm David Perry. We've been speaking with Sister Nova Nilla. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.
Thank you.
Thank you, sister. Thanks for the blessing.